Welcome to an extraordinary journey of resilience, courage, and hope. This is the story of Fatimah, a young girl from a small Nigerian village who dared to defy the weight of tradition and chase a dream many thought impossible. In the heart of a vibrant Nigerian village, where life danced to the rhythms of tradition, every sunrise unveiled a familiar symphony of community. Women, adorned in bright, colorful fabrics, moved gracefully through the bustling market paths, balancing woven baskets atop their heads. Their laughter and chatter harmonized with the playful shouts of children, darting barefoot across dusty lanes, their games echoing through the air. Smoke spiraled from humble cooking fires, merging with the golden morning light, carrying the rich aroma of simmering stews and freshly baked bread. Amid this tapestry of life, one girl stood apart, with her bright, inquisitive eyes and unyielding spirit. Fatimah saw more than the confines of her village. While others embraced the familiar, she dreamed of a future shaped by her own hands. Her heart yearned for the freedom to explore a world where the weight of tradition would not bind her path, a world ignited by the promise of education and the hope of boundless possibilities. Key. In Fatimah's dreams lay a courage that defied expectation and a vision that would one day transcend the boundaries of her community, sparking a journey that would inspire countless others. Indeed, in the village, where the rhythms of tradition intertwined with the melodies of daily life, Fatimah stood apart. While others moved to the pulse of routines, her spirit danced to a tune only she could hear, a melody of curiosity, hope, and boundless dreams. Fatimah found her sanctuary beneath the shade of a grand mango tree, her humble classroom. It was here, under the tree's sprawling branches, Fatimah discovered her first love, education. Her eyes sparkled with a brightness that mirrored the possibilities she saw beyond the village boundaries. Every chalk mark on the wooden board, every word from her teacher's lips, was a key unlocking doors to a world she longed to know. She soaked in knowledge like the parched earth absorbs the rain. With each lesson, her dreams took shape. Yet, even as Fatimah thrived, the weight of societal expectations pressed down upon her. The culture, tradition, and expectation from a girl child. In her village, tradition dictated that a girl's worth was found in her ability to serve her family and her future husband. What, to many, Fatimah's destiny seemed carved in stone, a life defined by early marriage, childbearing, and the daily chores of domesticity. But within Fatimah burned a quiet rebellion, a refusal to be boxed into a life that is predetermined by others. Not me, Fatimah often says to herself. I will go to school. So, with grace and an insatiable thirst for knowledge, she began to chart a path for herself, one question at a time. Fatimah was not afraid to ask more, to probe deeper, and to learn beyond what was offered. Her teacher became her confidant, patiently answering her endless stream of inquiries. What is the world beyond the village like? She would ask. What do books hold that can change a person's life? Her curiosity was not just a yearning. It was a force that sustained her against the tide of doubt that surrounded her. The whispers of naysayers among her extended family, in between stepsisters and other family members, grew louder, reminding her of the narrow expectations placed on her shoulders. Well, Fatimah will say without mincing words, mine is different. I will go to school. But Fatimah held on to her belief with quiet determination. To her, the possibility of a life shaped by knowledge, rather than limitation, was not just a dream. It was a certainty. Each day as she sat beneath the mango tree, her vision became clearer. A vision of a life where she could define her own path, where education could become the bridge to freedom. And though she was just a young girl with no guarantees of success, she carried the strength of someone who knew, deep down, that the future could be rewritten. Fatimah dared to hope, to believe, and to chase a life beyond the boundaries of tradition. It was this belief, unwavering and pure, that became her guiding light. So, as young Fatimah stood out, not just for her bright eyes or her infectious smile, but for the fire that burned within her, Fatimah was determined to go to school, no matter what. She was not ready to say yes to what she did not believe, an early marriage. The obstacles she faced continued increasing in her family, the community where young men sat around and waited for the next woman to marry. They were married for them by their parents' choice. Not me, Fatimah will often say to herself. I will go to school, while others saw life as a well-worn path of expectations. Fatimah dreamed of something more that would change her story forever. Education. As we all know, dreams, as beautiful as they do not come without challenges. Fatimah's family, like many others, adhered to the customs that had guided their traditions and culture. Fatimah watched as young men lounged in shaded corners of the village, laughing and waiting for their parents to arrange their next marriage. The girls, on the other hand, often learned to lower their gaze, preparing themselves for the lives chosen for them. Yet, Fatimah's gaze was different. It lifted toward the horizon, toward the future she imagined with books in her hands and knowledge in her heart. Yes, the Fatimah's story has just begun. Her determination was both her greatest strength and her heaviest burden. The whispers grew louder in the village. Why does she need education? Some would ask. Why can she not listen to her father? Every girl in that home get married early. Is she different? The villagers will gossip. They would whisper, she will only end up in her husband's kitchen. Even in her own home, tension simmered. Her father's stern voice would echo in the compound, reminding her mother that the family could not afford such extravagances for a girl. But Fatimah had an ally in her mother, Sherifat, a woman whose quiet strength was as steadfast as the village baobab tree. Sherifat saw in her daughter the courage to fight for a life she herself could only dream of. She pleaded with Al-Haji Sani, promising to bear the cost of Fatimah's schooling. And when words failed, Sherifat became quiet, yet supportive of Fatimah's cause of action. Sherifat, Fatimah's mother, was a quiet but unyielding force. She never gave up hope and never missed an opportunity to remind Fatimah that she could be anything she chose to be. Sherifat instilled in her daughter the power of belief and the strength of prayer. She told Fatimah, God never forgets the prayers of children, she would say, her voice filled with quiet conviction. Those words became a cornerstone of Fatimah's faith, strengthening her resolve. Each night, Fatimah prayed diligently, envisioning a future where education was her path and her dreams were within reach. But while Sherifat nurtured hope, Al-Haji, ! Fatimah's father held firmly to tradition. To him, a girl's destiny was clear: marry well, serve her family, and uphold the customs of their community. Education for a daughter? That was a luxury, an afterthought, and certainly not a priority. And so, as Fatimah dreamed of books and classrooms, the obstacles around her grew, stacking like heavy stones. Fatimah's heart often pounds, almost going through the roof. The fear and anxiety. Yet there is a resolve within her mindset for one goal: no early marriage, and no choice of not going to school. To Fatimah, that was untouchable. The community became another battlefield. Fatimah's relentless pursuit of education drew more jealousy and gossip. Why does she bother? The villagers murmured. No one can tell Al-Haji what to do to his children. They will say quo. Quietly, Fatimah will smile. At age 17, she already believes that she has a plan for her future, and wants to live the life God has given her. From a young age, she believed that if you do not quit, those who come after you will quit. Her classmates teased her mercilessly for staying after lessons, always eager to ask the teacher one more question. "Fatimah, the professor," they jeered. But Fatimah, with quiet determination, met their taunts with a smile. Every question she asked, every moment she lingered, was a step closer to the answers she sought, and she refused to let mockery derail her journey. She refused to let the lack of support from her family deter her ambitions. Indeed, no one can stop you but you. Her sanctuary was the classroom beneath the mango tree, where the wind whispered through the leaves and the world unfolded before her eyes. Fatimah's mind traveled to faraway lands, learning of women who had defied expectations and rewritten history. Each word on the blackboard became a key to freedom, and every story she read ignited a spark of hope within her. Still, the road was lined with heartache. Fatimah would sit outside, gazing at the stars on nights when her father's disappointment weighed heavy on her. She will stay far from her father's sight, for fear for him not to remember that she is still going to school. Her younger siblings often joined her, their innocent laughter breaking the stillness of the evening. In their presence, she found renewed strength. She wasn't just fighting for herself, but she was different, they will say. She was fighting for every girl who had been told, "You can't," and for the younger generation who deserved to dream just as boldly as she did. Despite every challenge, Fatimah's resolve never wavered. She walked miles to school on empty stomachs, wore her worn uniform with pride, and carried the weight of expectations on her small shoulders. But Fatimah dared to hope. She dared to believe. And she dared to chase a life that stretched far beyond the boundaries of tradition. That belief became her guiding light. It shone brightly in the darkest nights of despair, illuminating a path she was determined to forge for herself. Fatimah was no longer just a girl with dreams. She was a force of nature, a living testament to resilience, courage, and the boundless power of hope. Fatimah's story began to ripple through the village, touching the lives of others. Quietly, other girls started to ask questions, wondering if they too could have a future beyond the narrow paths laid out for them. Fatimah's courage started to reshape the narrative, sparking a journey that would inspire countless others. Fatimah wasn't merely defying the odds. She was rewriting the rules of possibility for every girl born under the shadow of tradition. She became living proof that determination, fueled by love and guided by hope, could overcome any barrier. And so, under the shade of the mango tree that had witnessed her first steps toward knowledge, Fatimah's story transformed into a beacon of hope. It was a light for her village and the world, illuminating the boundless potential of a girl who dared to dream. This story is just beginning. Fatimah's story is one of quiet strength, unyielding, resilience, and unwavering hope. Guided by her mother's early encouragement and belief in the power of prayer, Fatimah held onto a dream others deemed impossible. She walked the dusty paths to school, endured the whispers and gossip of her community, and faced her father's disappointment, all with the conviction that her future was hers to define. Under the mango tree that served as her sanctuary, she found knowledge and the courage to imagine a life beyond the boundaries of tradition. Fatimah's questions, her thirst for learning, and her refusal to be confined by societal expectations became her greatest acts of defiance. Her story began to resonate beyond her classroom, igniting a spark of hope in other girls who dared to dream of a life that was their own. And now, as we reach this milestone, Fatimah has achieved a remarkable feat. She has completed high school. A girl from a small village, facing immense odds, has defied tradition and taken her first major step toward the life she has always envisioned. Yet, this achievement is only the foundation of her journey. Fatimah knows her story is far from over. The road ahead is still uncertain, with new challenges waiting at every turn. But Fatimah's determination remains unshaken, her guiding light burning brighter than ever. What lies ahead for her as she steps into the next chapter of her life? Will her relentless pursuit of education bring her closer to the freedom she dreams of? This is just the beginning of Fatimah's story, a tale of courage and hope that inspires her village and the world. Join us in episode 2 as we continue to follow Fatimah's incredible journey, filled with resilience, discovery, and the unyielding quest for a brighter future. Don't miss it.